And to conclude the program tonight, we'll hear from three more speakers. The first speaker will be Dr. Gary Fox, Dean of the College of Ag and Life Sciences at NC State University.
So my name is Gary Fox. I'm the Dean of the College of Ag and Life Sciences. I'm coming up on 9 years at NC State, and if you need to know anything about me, I was the former department head of bio and ag engineering, and I don't see him. Oh, there he is. He's got his back to me. Mike Boyette trained me as department head of bio and ag engineering. Dr. Boyette, wave your hand. There he is, the man, right? Dr. Boyette, great representative of North Carolina agriculture. We are excited about what's going on in the College of Ag and Life Sciences. First and foremost, Dr. Yencho basically stole all of my talking points. It's basically that we appreciate the wonderful partnerships that we have with our sweet potato growers, the North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, our allied industries to help us support this number one industry in the nation here in the state of North Carolina. And we in the College of Ag and Life Sciences have a long history of supporting this great industry. And I can tell you as Dean, we are going to continue to do everything in our power to continue to support that great industry. And I'm going to give you an example of this real fast. If you are with NC State University, we'll even ask Dr. Kudinoff with the College of Engineering to stand, but if you're with Extension, Research, our academic programs, grad student, faculty, staff, can you stand up just real quick? Look at the power of this, right? Right, that's the power of NC State, right? And you have that behind your industry, and we are committed to making sure that we continue to do that. You are at one of our premier research stations, as Hunter talked about. We have the wonderful opportunity here in the next 8 or 9 years, because of the passage of a nice piece of legislation within the big, beautiful bill, that we will have access to new resources and new funding to do upgrades to our research facilities, both on campus and off campus. And we're going to make sure that we do that at NC State. We've got to compete for those funds with all other land-grant institutions in the country. But I can tell you the College of Ag and Life Sciences is at the very top of all of those land-grant institutions across the country, okay? And so we're going to be competing for those funds and getting even stronger. The other thing I would tell you is the grower support that we receive for our research and extension programs is so critical to us. And I just want to tell you how important those funds are to us and how much we appreciate those funds to support all of the great people that just stood up. Okay, we could not do this work without you, and we really appreciate all of the growers and the Sweet Potato Commission in helping us to be the greatest sweet potato producer again in the United States. Now, at NC State, we are going through a period of transition, okay? And if you wanted to call something right now about NC State, it's kind of an age of transition. It starts at the very top. We have a brand new chancellor at NC State, Chancellor Kevin Howe. I just got off the phone with him just a few minutes ago about something completely unrelated to sweet potatoes, which is good. But Chancellor Howe is going to be a wonderful advocate for agriculture and for the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. In fact, many of the other deans are not very happy with me, because I will tell you that Chancellor Howe has had more face time with the College of Ag and Life Sciences than he has had with any other college. And I can tell you he understands the importance of agriculture to the state of North Carolina and the importance of what you are doing for our state. So you have a wonderful advocate in our new chancellor, and we are going to continue to bend his ear off about agriculture in the state of North Carolina. The other thing is we're going through a lot of transitions in our college. Okay, we are hiring new people to lead our programs. In fact, I want Dr. David Monks to stand up. Dr. Monks is our new extension director. Give him a round of applause. Dr. Monks is going to do an incredible job in that role, helping us to move forward and to move extension forward. Many of you know there's a new strategic plan for agriculture that was developed called NC Ag Leads, and we are working very hard on looking exactly at how we can make extension even more prominent and even more helpful moving forward in the future. In fact, I just got back from a whirlwind tour of every single county extension office in the state of North Carolina. How many of you have been in all 100 counties in North Carolina? Am I the only one? Oh, we've got 2. All right, we've got 2 people, right, in this audience. It was a wonderful, wonderful tour, And we have identified some key ways and some key changes that we can make that we're going to make sure that Extension is responding to the needs of our North Carolina growers. We're going to continue to have transition. Dr. Steve Lommel, our research director, will be retiring at the end of this month in just a couple of weeks. And we have named 2 interim co-directors moving forward in our interim leadership. That's Dr. Amy Grunden and probably a guy you all know, Dr. Lauren Fisher, who is going to be leading our research programs at least on an interim basis for the next several months. And they're going to do a fantastic job. Okay, so we are, again, even though we're in a period of transition, we feel really comfortable with where we are and how we're going to continue to support North Carolina agriculture. And I can tell you we're really comfortable because we don't have to deal with something called the Bill Belichick thing, right? And so luckily we don't have to worry about that. And so it's not, all of our problems seem pretty minuscule when you're dealing with UNC Chapel Hill right now, okay? But no, I just appreciate everybody being here. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the dean and the college administration to all of our NC State researchers and extension agents, our extension specialists. We see you, we appreciate you, and to all the growers and producers out there, thank you for what you're doing for the state of North Carolina, okay? Go Pack.
All right, so our next speaker will be Dr. Bill Foote. Dr. Foote is the director of the Plant Industry Division and will provide a few remarks from NCDA.
Thank you, Hunter. I got to tell this story. I first met Hunter in a class I was kind of teaching it. I think they taught me more than I taught them at NC State. So Hunter turns in a beautiful weed collection, and it looked like it was artistic, and he got an A. Anyways, I want to thank Hunter and his staff for hosting this meeting. They've done a wonderful job, showcase the research station. And one thing about the research station, they're extremely important to the Department of Ag. And we love the collaborative efforts with NC State and all the PIs and everything that goes on here. They're well run. They do a lot of work, and it's an important part of the Department of Agriculture. I'll leave it at that. It's tough to follow Dr. Fox. He's dynamic, he's interesting, and got a lot of good news. I, on the other hand, am not. And I have nothing interesting to say because it's regulatory, it's government, and all the things that, as a farmer, I particularly didn't like. So, but that's my job. So I'll proceed. I talked with the commissioner and the other assistant commissioners and asked them what do we want to talk about. And I'm going to tie it into sweet potato production the best I can. So government shutdown, we all want to know what that does to us, right? Well, government shutdown right now hasn't impacted the North Carolina Department of Ag yet. I'll leave it at that. But the USDA workers are all at home. And what's that mean for us? Well, that means they're not processing checks. Our grants and awards we've gotten are pretty important to us. Pretty much the funding stream has quit. But our state legislature and our commissioner have said, we'll cover that for a while. That's the rub. What's for a while mean? Because we don't have that money, and we don't have a promise they're going to pay us back. And that's important to us because we've got a lot of people working. They're working on important projects. If they're, we don't want to furlough them because we believe our work is important. We don't want to send them home. So, we get a lot of our funding from USDA, Forestry Service, Fish and Wildlife, and it funds about a third of my division. So it's important to us. So we're running out there with a promise that we might get paid in the end. But that's okay. We're not quitting, and we're going to keep working. So one of the things that might happen, and we're afraid to even talk about, is long-term staffing issues. But we're going to make it work. And we're going to get the USDA back to work. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's the bad things. The good things are Tobacco marketing, the commissioner has been on two trips. And I talk about tobacco because many of the growers here alternate with, or tobacco is a big part of their business. Prices were kind of depressed this year. A lot of that we can blame on China. But the commissioner went to Switzerland and talked to PMI and came back very invigorated and very promising trip. He came back and thinks that we're going to see some more contracts in 2026, and PMI is behind that. So that's an optimistic outlook. He went to Japan with the commission, and they came back very optimistic about 2026 as well. Details I'm not privy to, but there's 2 trips when the commissioner comes back happy, we're all happy. So ag disaster crop loss. Some of you in this room might have applied for some of that relief in 2024, may or may not have. But all the applications have been reviewed, verified, and funding is allocated, and checks should be filtering their way out here. So basically, literally, the checks are in the mail. So, and I can joke because we're actually coming to an end on that, and it was an initiative of the commissioners. He wrestled a lot of money away from the legislature, and we did the best we can to help agriculture in North Carolina. Now, my program, plant industry, it was a horrible year for invasive species. And I'm only going to talk about a few of them. I can't even tell you how bad it is. But I will talk about a couple that I need your help with. Tropical spiderwort made its resurgence this year in 3 counties. We want to stamp it out. There's still small populations right now. If we stamp it out this year and monitor those sites for 4 years, we'll declare the state clean. And you say, what's tropical spiderwort got to do with sweet potatoes? Well, it's in your rotations. Tropical spiderwort can be in peanut. You love peanut as a rotation. And one of the problems with tropical spiderwort, it's got an underground seed. That seed can live, we figure, 4 years is about the extent of it. So you'll be dealing with it for 4 years in your rotation. So that's important. If you see it, learn to identify it, please, and notify us or Extension or somebody. Will come out and develop a plan and make sure we can stamp this out. But it's important because we haven't seen it. We declared it eradicated probably 2 years ago, and this year we found it in 3 places, unrelated as far as we can tell. Who knows? You can even buy it in a catalog, online sales, which is a weakness in our system. So I call this the year of hitchhiker. Every problem we have, we can call it a hitchhiker. You've heard of spotted lanternfly, correct? Well, that's a hitchhiker, and it's in 6 counties this year. Probably by the end of the year, we'll see it in 10. It's moving into our wine country. That's a problem. I'm sorry, that doesn't affect sweet potatoes, but it's just something to tell you. There's another hitchhiker and the problems it causes. Guava root knot nematode, it was a hitchhiker. So you know what you're dealing with. We talked about that for about an hour. Well, not an hour, half hour. And Adrian does a great job. Thank you. And I'm not making light of this. So thank you for that. But that's all I got to say about the Department of Ag. I know I hit on a few points that are important to us. And look, I silenced the room. You're no longer having fun. So with that, I'm done. And
Thank you, Bill. So our last speaker tonight will be Michelle Granger with comments from the Sweet Potato Commission.
Thanks, Hunter. Thank you, Bill. As Hunter said, my name is Michelle Granger, and I believe I have met the majority of you in the room, but if I haven't had that pleasure, I have the distinct honor as serving as your North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission Executive Director and representing this industry in all forms and fashions. Most of the time, if you follow me or the Commission on social media, you see my activities from a promotion side. And that is, the commission was founded in 1961 to increase consumer consumption. So of course, that's the largest part of our operating budget, is how do we do that. But the commission's also very busy in many other areas. And those include research and advocacy as well. Today is a great example of research. And while we have not done any of this research, there's much of the research that was presented today that the commission, along with your assessment dollars, has helped provide at least initial funding for, if not a large part of funding. And we are so appreciative of the partnership that we have with NC State, with North Carolina Cooperative Extension, North Carolina A&T, certainly North Carolina Department of Agriculture. I tell people all the time when I travel all over, one of the secret sauces to North Carolina agriculture is our sense of community. And I really feel that and mean that. We work so well together, and most states do not have the luxury that our state has to have the ecosystem, is what I would call it, of how connected we are. And it really proves that way. This week on Monday, let me just ask this, how many growers are still in the room? All right, I know it's getting late and you've had busy weeks with harvest happening. Just so you know, the assessment invoice went out on Monday. While you probably don't want to see the invoice per se, you are going to want to see some of the other contents within that packet. And in that packet is your assessment magazine. On page 10, everybody hear that? Page 10, you will find the acres for this year of what was planted. But you're also going to find another insert. And in that insert is something about Miss Ann Gallagher. Now, Ann is not here today, or she was here, but she's left now. But why I bring this up and tie it to research is because in April, the commission brought Ann on as a contractor to serve specifically as our guava root knot nematode research project manager. So you may have heard and be familiar with the fact that we received $5 million from the General Assembly to work on guava root knot nematode. Well, there's a lot of research that's happening on that front. There's a lot of really good research, but it's not all in the sweet potato space. There's a lot of other crops that are also working on it. So Ann is helping us make sure that we have an all-hands approach in leveraging all the knowledge so that we truly can utilize taxpayer dollars in this state to protect North Carolina's vegetable and one of its #1 specialty crops. So when you look at your assessment packet, if you would like help on your operation, please call Ann, specifically around guava root knot nematode. All of her services are paid for out of the commission and special grants that we have, and she works hand in hand with all of our research and our extension agents. So she's a great one to reach out to. I mentioned advocacy. So yes, we have been busy. Perhaps you have heard we filed a FOIA, and a FOIA is a Freedom of Information Act. We filed that with USDA back in June, and it was about exactly how is the Farm Labor Survey used and how exactly is the AWR calculated, because we can't figure it out. And this FOIA was filed with a coalition that was created. The coalition at the time was 5 states, 32 entities. We are now up to 7 states, 35 entities, and the USDA has dropped the Farm Labor Survey and has just recently come out with new rates for AWR. You may have heard about those. I will tell you, there's a lot of moving pieces and parts with this activity. There is an open comment period until December 1st. I encourage each of you to take advantage of that open comment period. And that ties into our poster that fell off while Bill was speaking. We've been working on a project since last year so that it ties together with what our colleagues down in Mississippi are doing. They have been able to take their acre, what we are calling labor rates by acre, per acre, and put it all together to show input costs, labor, and most importantly, diminishing returns on those farm operations. North Carolina is set to do the same thing, but we need your help to do it. Right now, we're right at 24% of acres represented in our wage labor survey, so it makes it really hard for us statistically to go to DC arm in arm with our colleagues from Mississippi to talk about how our labor rates and our diminishing returns on our growers are without your help. So if you haven't had a chance to take that survey and fill out that information, it is anonymous, it will be confidential, and I ask you to please do that. Now, moving on to where I said about promotions. There's a lot going on, but I'm going to tell you one area because I think you'll find it interesting. We are hosting a harvest tour. Chances are many of you within the research committee are going to be seeing us because we want to show you off. We want to show off the Clinton Research Station. We want to show off these partnerships. This harvest tour is taking place the very first week of November, and we will have 10 registered dietitians from across the United States, all with different areas of focus. If you are a member of the NC State Research Community, and have heard from Coco and I but haven't responded yet, there's my plug. I promised her I'd do it. We need you to respond so that we can account for you accordingly. But we are very excited about this tour, and we did this last year. The level of exposure we're able to gain and promote you, and most importantly, the crop that you produce, is incredible. At the end of the day, it does help us move the needle in increasing consumer consumption, which you'll remember, that's how we started. That is how the commission was founded. So, since I am the last one before you get to go home, I'm going to wrap that up. But I have to say thank you. Big thank you to all of you who came out on this beautiful day. Big, big thank you to Hunter and the entire staff. This was gorgeous, how it was set up. A lot of work to make that happen, to turn in our storage facilities into an entertainment venue of sorts. But I think it has been tremendous. And of course, the research presentations have been incredible. So everyone who's participated in those and to make that possible, thank you again. I thank the College of Ag and Life Sciences and all the researchers and extension representatives that are part of that are part of this great industry. You had Dean Fox have you stand earlier. We are so blessed, and it shows as to why we are the #1 producing state in the nation. I also cannot not say thank you to our colleagues at NCDA. Again, the collaboration and how we all work together helps make us as strong as we are. And my colleague, Coco Daltrey, hopefully most of you know her, but if you don't, she's in the back. Tommy's pointing her out and she's raising her hand. She is absolutely, yes, thank you very, very much. We are running hard, and she was here way early this morning to help Hunter and team to make sure everything got done so that this event ran very smoothly. So I thank Coco for her commitment and passion to the industry. And if you've not seen this gorgeous pumpkin, I thank Tommy and Roger Batts because Mrs. Batts did this. And if you take special attention, it says what? Sweet potato is one word. So you know I love it. I was very excited. All right, thank you so much for being here today. I look forward to seeing you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your harvest and a tremendous year ahead. Thank you.